Good afternoon. I'm Daniel Guest, and welcome to the Imagine Your Game Differently podcast. It's brought to you by Imagen Golf and PXG. And you can go to our site, imagengolf.com, to see all of our offerings, including our free drills, our free practice plans, our golf ebooks and videos that are free, or to book a lesson with me at our state-of-the-art studio right outside of Philadelphia, or virtually anywhere in the world through our partner, thegolfliveapp.com. And you can sign up for our free tips and videos that go out once a week, every week, by simply dropping us your email. Hey, what a what a great golf weekend, right? And I don't even say that jokingly. I mean, what a fantastic golf weekend. If you did not get a chance, well, by the way, happy belated Father's Day to everybody out there. And if you didn't get a chance to watch the U.S. Open, you missed it, man. It was a great U.S. Open. It was ironically, it was the highest rated U.S. Open since they had an Open on the East Coast. All right, and that was New York back in 2015, I think it was. But anyway, it was up like 9%. All right, the title of this podcast is simple: Can Bryson DeChambeau save the PGA? Right, and my wife, said, "Oh, that's kind of sarcastic or kind of cheeky." I think she said cheeky's kind of a weird word. I think it's like an English word for, I don't even know what it's for. What does cheeky mean? Sarcastic, probably, right? But anyway, look, I'm not being cheeky. I'm not being sarcastic. I think if you just look at what he's done over the last year, right, his body of work in the majors, because he can only play the majors, right, from the PGA Tour. I think it's been fantastic, right? Not only has it been great golf, I mean, heck, he came in, I think it was 6th at the Masters, right? With a brand new set of irons that he just 3D printed like the day before, and the USGA just approved them the day before, right? Who does that, right? So I think his personality has morphed. I don't think it's changed, right? I think a lot of people are saying, that it's changed. I don't see it. I mean, I met him. I guess he's 30 now. I met him probably 15 years ago. And no, it couldn't have been that much. It was right after he graduated SMU. So 10 years ago, right? Anyway, he was a skinny, definitely geeky kid. He went to SMU as a physics major, right? That's all you need to know. And he was definitely that geeky, kind of kid, if you would, right? He was tall and lanky and skinny when I met him, but very, very respectable, and definitely had a decent personality. You could tell the kid was outgoing, gregarious, right? And I think that's really, really starting to show through as he's maturing as a man, right? And his career is taking off because of it. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think they're definitely connected, right? And I think that the tour, both tours, but more so the PGA Tour, is missing some big personalities. I mean, I love Scottie Scheffler's game. I love watching him compete, right? And some of the shots he makes is just amazing. But I don't know that I want to have a beer with Scottie Scheffler, right? I mean, he just seems ultra boring, right? And especially on the golf course, right? And some will say, well, he's ultra focused. Yeah, I get it. But ultra focused sometimes translates to ultra boring, right? So I do think that somebody with Bryson's electric personality and the game that he has can really work towards the PGA's advantage, right? I mean, he's always been known to hit the ball far, right? There's no doubt about that. And the last U.S. Open that he won in, I believe that was 2015 as well, was testimony to that. He outdrove the field by like 30 yards that year. So much so that Rory finally admitted that he can't keep up with Bryson and he's going to stop trying from a driving perspective. And Rory crushes the golf ball, right? But who knew? The guy can putt, and he's got a short game like none other, right? And it was on full display, not just towards the end and how he won it with an incredible short game, but it was on display all weekend. He was in trouble all weekend, right? I mean, he's the first to admit. I mean, I think on the last day he only hit like 5 fairways, 5, right? Over the weekend, I think he only hit like less than 25% of the fairways. So he was in. And by the way, I played Pinehurst a bunch of times. That is not a place you don't want to be in the fairway on, right? Or at, I should say. So I mean, the guy doesn't get enough credit for it. I think he will now, but he certainly doesn't get enough credit for his short game, right? And for all you Bryson haters out there that say, oh, he didn't win it, Rory lost it, just stop, right? Just stop, all right? Rory had a phenomenal weekend. I know he's going to be remembered for kind of, flailing out towards the end, flaming out towards the end. I get it, but he played fantastic. I mean, on that final day, I think he birdied like 9, 10, 12, 13 in another hole, right? And then only to bogey, like I think he bogeyed the 3 of the last 5, 15, 16, and 18. So, yeah, I get it, right? I mean, definitely a little bit of a meltdown. He missed a putt that he traditionally never misses. He was 4-9. In fact, the commentators jinxed him a little bit. They said flat out that, he was 496 of 496. So, inside of 3 feet. And, right before that hole, he missed a 4-footer, which he has similar odds on, not as good, obviously, but similar. He's a fantastic putter. And I think the pressure got to him. I think his routine got a little bit, mixed up, if you would, and look, just didn't execute. But to say that he lost it, I don't know that's true, right? I mean, Bryson was still going to come up, and who knows if Bryson birdies the hole, right? I mean, if Bryson birdies the hole because he parred it to win. If he birdied it, maybe he wins anyway outright. But either way, it looked like they were going to go to a playoff, right? So I don't buy into the other opponent, or the opponent, if you would, lost it, right? Now I get it. There are some examples of such, right? You have a big lead and you give it away, but Bryson didn't have that big of a lead. And he wasn't playing well on his last day. Like a lot of champions, they don't play the greatest. There's a lot of pressure. You go into that final day of a major and you are the leader by 4 strokes. That's a lot of pressure on your shoulders. Oh, and by the way, then you bogey a hole and it's down to 3. Man, you're grinding. You are absolutely I played competitive golf, not to that level by any means. But look, any competition, any level of competition in golf is grinding, especially when you're winning. All right. It's not like he was on cruise control in any way, shape, or form. But I think Bryson has a chance to hopefully unify the 2 tours a little bit faster than what's really happening now. I think his personality suits that it could even arguably introduce another younger generation to the game, right? Let's face it, data is here to stay, right? So the younger generation can see Bryce's approach to the game different as it is, which is different than most. I mean, the guy puts his golf balls in saline or Epsom salts and water to see where their balance point is, and then he marks that balance point and he putts to that balance point. I mean, this guy, used to carry a protractor in his scorebook, if you would, right? Before they outlawed it, right? I mean, he definitely is data centric in everything he does. His irons are unlike any. Well, he's the first guy to play. I don't know if that's true. It might be the second guy, but one of the first guys to play on tour with 1-length irons, which is a big deal. And just from a physics standpoint, that makes the most sense. I've tried them. I can hit that 1-length 7 iron, which is the length of a 6 iron. I can hit it close to 200 yards, but that's about it. I can't hit it. It seems like Cobra, when they first came out, actually sent me a set and I had to send them back because there's no way I could use them. But I should do a whole podcast on that. But my point is, look, he brings a lot to the table. And not only from a golf perspective, this guy, man, was out signing autographs after his win till like 10:30 at night. Who does that? That would be nobody on the tour. Nobody. All right. And I know people are going to say, oh, Rory's a bad sport because, he was in and out, over the scorer's room, if you would, and off the premises in 10 minutes. And look, I get it. I'd be a bad poor sport too, man. I'd be upset with myself, right? He had a chance. He hasn't won a major in 10 years. Everybody's all over him. He's going through a divorce, He's got a live offer in front of him of like $1 billion. I mean, the guy's got a lot going on. He's got a league going with Tiger that's has been postponed a year, but it's going to supposedly be, a killer investment, if you would. So the guy has got a lot on his plate, man. The whole fiasco with the policy board on the PGA. The fact that Rory was even there is amazing, in my opinion. But I think, and speaking of Rory, what was he doing on national television in the scorer's room, right? Wouldn't you go somewhere where you could be by yourself, right? So that the reaction wouldn't be caught on camera. Maybe go to the range and hit a few golf balls so that, if in the event it does go to a playoff, you're fresh. I just thought that was weird. For putting on, his emotions on display for the whole world to see. I personally thought that was a mistake, and someone should have probably grabbed him and said, "Hey, man, why don't you come with me?" But look, I wasn't kidding in the title. I think the PGA needs some help. We did a couple podcasts, and they were well listened to. I don't know if they were well reviewed, but the tour has been hurting, man. Viewership is way down. I mean, way down, 20-some% down, right? And this resurgence, if you would, can be accredited to someone like a Bryson for sure. All right. I don't know that even if Scotty Scheffler was in, it was Scotty Scheffler and Rory, well, maybe Rory because he's a big draw, and the fact that he hasn't won in 10 years, maybe that was a big draw for people. But you got to give it to Bryson. I mean, his YouTube channel, all his social media is blowing up for subscribers like it's never done before. So you can't say that this guy is not a needle mover because he is, right? I think the eclectic personality that he brings and the changes that he makes constantly to himself, whether it be the physical changes he made or the equipment changes he's constantly making. I mean, heck, he's got new irons that we mentioned. He's got a new driver. He breaks a driver like every 50 shots, it seems like. It doesn't matter what manufacturer it is, but he plays a crank driver right now, which is known for known in the business or the industry for long drives. And here he is, the only tour player ever to play it on tour. And he doesn't get any endorsement money for doing it. All right. So clearly he likes that. He's got a new caddy. He's got a new mental game, a new mental approach to it. I mean, he really kind of reinvents himself as he needs to, as things change in golf, and things changing in golf all the time. Technology, he carries around a launch monitor like it's a lunch pail, right? And it says right on it, "Golf is dope," right? This guy, Bryson, carrying this like lunch pail that says "Golf is dope" on it, right? It's his launch monitor. It's his Foresight GC quad. It's quad max or whatever. So I think the answer to the podcast title is yes. I think he can save the PGA Tour. I don't know if it's his job. In fact, I know it's not his job. I'm not saying that, but I do think his electric and eclectic personality brings something to the game that's been lacking ever since Tiger's downfall, if you would, or challenges have become, more evident, if you would. He's not the same Tiger anymore. He's still a draw. He's not that big of a draw, but he's still a draw, right? And I think more people will tune in. I know more people will tune in if Bryson is on the scene, and especially if he's playing well. And I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. I really don't. So, well, there you have it. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. Please hit the follow button wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to check out our site, imagengolf.com. And you can follow us on all the social media platforms. We just put another video up. It always amazes me, some of the dumb videos that we put up that get a lot of views, if you would. Put a video up yesterday at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's already got 1.5 million, almost 2 million total, but 1.5 million on TikTok, and almost another million through all the other social media platforms. So really appreciate everyone paying attention to Imagine Golf. You don't know how much it means to us. And here's to getting you the game that you've always imagined.